Hi guys, my name is Stephen Mitz, and I am I do a lot of things. I'm a kind of a jack of all trades. I'm an entrepreneur, probably primarily, first and foremost. I'm also an investor. I'm a coach. I spent the last 20 years doing all sorts of different projects. I've been involved in multiple industries, done a lot of product development. But I think really where I've focused most of my time and my energy has been really working in disruptive spaces. So, thinking about brand new products, brand new markets, really things that most people never would have thought could exist, do exist, or will exist. That's really where I've kind of carved out my niche and spent most of my time. I am in my car today. This is the beginning of what's likely to be maybe a weekly, bi-weekly series of vlogs, really. This is not a podcast. This is not something where I'm going to be doing, daily or by however many times a week episodes, etc. This is really just about putting out good content. I've been an entrepreneur for a while. I have launched multiple products in multiple spaces. I've built companies from the ground up, taking things from literally an idea, a concept, a PowerPoint slide, to a $20 million a year business. I worked on all kinds of projects, and we'll get into all of that. I want to be a resource for you guys and really just share my knowledge, my experience, my resources. I've been coaching for a while, but I've not been developing content while I do it, and I haven't been really monetizing this as a revenue stream or anything. But as I have been building my own businesses and launching products, just meet people all the time, and my passion really is in helping other entrepreneurs become successful. I want to see people who are working on really cool projects and unique concepts be able to get those things to the market. Really what my motivation and my drive is. It's all about making a societal impact. And I think the best way to do that is frankly through technology. That's how a lot of this stuff is getting out there. And I think that's really where, large impacts, not just in business, but in society, are really going to take shape. If you look back over the last 20, 30, frankly, 100 or 200 years, and even beyond that historically, if you look kind of generationally or even in periods of time, there's all these things that come about, like revolutions, right? The Industrial Revolution, the Stone Age, et cetera, et cetera. If you look at the next tier, the next forefront, the next time we accomplish something major to society, it's always a door that is opened because of technology. And specifically, the pace of that has been rapidly increasing, accelerating over the past few decades. The freedom of information, the digital age, that has just massively transformed how information flow is happening, which allows folks like you and me, entrepreneurs, to be able to get access to that information, use our brains to basically become super connectors, not just of people, but of ideas and technology, and then very rapidly accelerate things and try things, fail quickly, and then when we find an idea that is actually stuck against the wall and looks like it might have some traction, we can iterate, pivot, and then really put gasoline on that much more quickly than institutional type of organizations, which are very focused on something that they've been doing for a long period of time. But I don't need to teach you guys about why to be an entrepreneur, right? You're already an entrepreneur. It's a decision you've made, or it's a path that you are blazing moving forward, and I'm here to help. So my background, let's see, I've done a number of different things. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, but I have lived all over the country. I've spent more than a decade on the East Coast. I have worked in a variety of industries. After I graduated from Gonzaga University, which is where I studied mechanical engineering, I actually did ROTC. So I joined the Army. I was a logistics officer for a number of years. I did a couple of tours to Iraq, and I learned an absolute ton, not just about life and leadership and stuff, but management, problem solving, being able to manage complex tasks and just different types of personalities and all kinds of stuff. And I was able to take those skills. I got recruited into a tech startup, and frankly, that's where I was really able to cut my teeth and learn every single way to fail in an organization and be successful. And just, I was essentially an entrepreneur in residence for like 15 years, where I was given the opportunity to try a number of different things, concepts, ideas, build businesses, go get funding, do market development, business case development. I spent all that time doing all kinds of things, briefing multiple Fortune 500 CEOs, navigating complex deal structures, pitching Congress a variety of different projects, writing hundreds and hundreds of proposals, doing lobby, being featured on various news articles and outlets. I launched half a dozen to a dozen different products during this time, and eventually spun out a couple of different businesses, and then even scaled up and did different types of product launches and manufacturing, outsourcing, and taking things globally and all kinds of stuff. But realistically, all the stuff that I was doing, it's exactly what you guys are doing, right? It's trying to grind and figure it out and do something that, frankly, nobody else has done before. There are coaches and consultants all over the place. People that can help you become an accountant, that can help you make content, that can help you, be an influencer, or there are hundreds and thousands of jobs and skill sets and things that people have done all over the country and all over the internet and all over all over industry. But you know what there isn't? There's not somebody who can teach you how to do something that's never been done before. You're taking that responsibility. It's a hard one. And frankly, you're doing it, signing up at the very beginning, knowing that there's a very high likelihood of failure. And that's what makes you special. That's what makes you amazing. The country, the world, technology, industry, our future children and leaders of America and the world, they need people like you, because you are the ones who are going to carve out what our future is going to look like. But you need help. It's really hard. It's really daunting to do something that nobody's ever done before. And that's what I've spent my career doing. And I've failed a lot, and I've been successful a lot. And I can help you navigate those waters. My tagline is, I can help you start up or scale up without screwing up. And that's, I think, one of the most important pieces of this. There's already a 90% failure rate for new businesses. And that is, assuming that you are using a business model that at some point has been successful. Whether you're trying to be a restaurant or an accountant or, whatever, a baker, there's been, thousands, if not millions, of successful people that have done those sorts of things before. But what if you're Uber? What if you're Google? What if you're, you name it, the millions of things, Apple, iPhones, all the things in technology that we use that 10 or 20 or 30 years ago, nobody would knew existed. Look at iPads. Everybody thought that those were going to be just a gimmick, something that nobody would even use. Now it's, I think, the second highest grossing product line for Apple. It's insane, right? So that's the thing. If you can create a new platform, a new way of doing things, something that is unique and differentiated and really creates a lot of value for somebody, and it doesn't have to be mass market, by the way. This is not something that has to be like Google where everybody on the planet uses it. Niche market is really, really good because it makes it really affordable to do customer acquisition. It makes it easier to figure out who your target market is, and generally there's probably already channels that you can exploit to find that market. Now, when you're doing something disruptive, you're gonna have to do a lot of education. Most of the time, there's a pretty large education component that goes along with launching a disruptive product or platform or new way of doing things. So anyway, those are the areas where I really want to help. It's an area I think that is underserved, and I think entrepreneurs and founders, tech leaders, people that are trying to do new and exciting things can really benefit from these types of conversations. So throughout the course of this program, or just frankly the content that I'm going to put out there, kind of here's how that's going to look. So I'm going to do some videos like this where I'm just kind of explaining or talking, or I've got a concept or a topic that I think is something that either I'm getting a lot of questions from my current clients or people that I'm working with, and I just want to put some good information out there, or as you guys know, industry and technology rapidly changing. Look at AI as an example. Companies are constantly wanting to look at how can we incorporate AI, if it's to get more sales, B, to reduce costs, C, to reduce the development timeline of things. Maybe you want to reduce the number of mistakes that are occurring in a given process or within a particular ecosystem within your business framework. There are so many ways that AI can help. It could do it in a scalable manner, and that's another example topic of things that we'll talk about. But really, my content and the topics that I speak on are going to be focused really on startup and scale up, on entrepreneurs, on disruptive products and markets and industries and technologies. And I think that'll become clear kind of as we go. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a lot of really interesting guests that will join. I've got some business partners, and I have a pretty robust network just from my years working with various entrepreneurs in industries. And so from time to time, probably every other week or so, we'll have somebody, whether it's from entertainment or from tech or from defense and security or consumer packaged goods or whatever. I have my fingers in a lot of different areas, and so we'll have guests like that on so that we can pick their brains and learn from them as well. People that have been successful and people that have failed. It's important to look on both sides and see what we can learn from both failures and successes. We'll also be featuring various clients that I have. So, a lot of my clients, I really only work with people that are doing really cool, disruptive stuff. And so it'll be interesting to feature them, give you guys some ideas of things maybe that are not working that you can employ within your business strategy. And then, we'll do some guest engagement. And then I'll be putting content out on a variety of platforms. My website is stevenmitz.com, so just check that out, www.stevenmitz.com. That's my name, Steven with a V, Mitz is 2 T's. And I will also be putting out a newsletter that you guys can subscribe for, and it's 100% free. Again, it's just going to be tips and tricks, references, platforms that I use that I swear by. Again, I'm one of you guys. I have these 3 or 4 companies right now, three of which that are actually in startup mode, all at various stages. Some are post product launch where they are driving revenue. Others are just in ideation state or in product development. But I am a serial entrepreneur, just like you guys. I face daily challenges and have to exploit and leverage my network and other folks that I meet. And I want to be able to help and teach you guys with what I'm using. If you guys are not using a tech stack, I'll also be giving advice on my favorite apps and platforms, not just with AI, but just simple things like financing platforms. How do you manage your payroll? How do you manage accounting, accounts receivable? If you're pre-launch and you're just trying to do project management or product development or manage a team or manage different vendors. A lot of you guys probably can't afford to hire a marketing agency or a PR firm or really high-paid consultants. Guess what? Me neither. So I have a lot of tools, a lot of tips, a lot of tricks, a lot of really affordable resources and partners of mine that I can, give you guys access to that are affordable and can work within whatever budget you have as a startup. If you need help with fundraising, how do you build a pitch deck? How do you go and even ask friends and family for funding? When is the right time to do that? When is my idea even good enough, right? So there's a ton of these different types of ideas and topics and things that we'll get into as we go. So with that, I just wanted to say hello, give you guys a quick introduction. Let's see, you can check me out on my other socials. My Instagram is Stevfast, STEVFAST. You can check out my LinkedIn as well. You can just type in Stephen Mitz. I'll be one of the first ones that pops up. Connect with me here on YouTube. Anywhere that we can stay connected, I'm going to be just trying to help in whatever ways that I can. So please don't hesitate. Drop a comment, drop a like, and please share this with anybody that you think is, hey, either an entrepreneur or maybe it's one of those things where they want to be. Maybe right now they're a wantrepreneur, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? So sometimes you're just trying to gather resources and information for when the right time is. And that's another thing we'll talk about. When is the right time to quit your job, or when is the right time to actually say, yes, this is something that I want to do? How do you know if your idea is good enough? These are all things that people struggle with, and I've had the same questions. I've worked with people that have the same questions, so I'm going to help you guys, take you through different frameworks that I use, questions that I ask, and how to evaluate those ideas, your timelines, your roadmaps, and everything. I will pull from best practices across industry, project management, product management, what they teach in business school, what the highest paid consultants are offering. I work with a lot of these folks, have friends that work, at Ernst & Young and Deloitte and Boston Consulting and all these other groups as well. But it's also really important to understand what people who are grassroots are doing, right? Maybe you don't have a formal education, but you know your industry or your customer or your product really well. That's really important. Of course, that leads to other questions, right? Like, do you need a co-founder? When is the right time to hire somebody, or bring on a strategic partner or investor? Should you be giving up equity? All of these types of things. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. I think that's enough for our first dialogue. And with that, I hope you guys stay safe, and I will talk to you soon.